So the past 2 years in my organization, the Scrum Masters went through a tumultuous journey. I'm using this forum to try and work through what happened. I dedicated to Yana, Fred, and Fal, my ex-colleagues that are no longer with us in the team. So 2 years ago, I interviewed for this company, and they liked what I did in my previous company, which was transforming a group of waterfall people into 3 squads that are releasing frequently and working in an agile way. So I joined this company, and over the first year, we were able to stabilize their cadence and bring in a retrospective practice to their work. But there were some problems that kept reoccurring. We fix something in a team, and then you step back, and then it reoccurs. Or more sinister problems happen in other teams. So slowly, my practice started becoming more mediation, more kind of trying to keep the peace. It was fine for me. I enjoyed it, designing these kind of mediation sessions where you get to see the point of view of different people. But my colleagues, Scrum Masters, were getting direct hits to themselves. One of them was kicked out of their team, and the other, had a really difficult time. So I confronted the 2 executives responsible for the 15 teams into a room, and it was under the pretext of a Scrum practice update, just updating about our work. I told them to sketch out the challenges that they face in their work. This was the biggest theme that emerged. Collaboration challenges, in their own words. Within teams, between teams, and between departments. This is what I've been working on the whole year, but I felt nobody actually acknowledged that there's a need for it. With them doing this, I had the smoking gun that legitimized my pursuit. So how do I probe this? Like, I have no experience in these kinds of things. So I hijacked a community of practice that we had for the product managers, and I told them, let's explore the difference between product owners and product managers. And they were like, oh, this is cool. So I asked them, what do you do in your role today? Hoping to see if there's a conflict between the roles. There was no conflict. My probe failed. The second question was, somebody told me, Osama, we have our JDs, the job description. It lists our responsibilities. So I said, okay, interesting. So I printed them out. And then we had like a little game, like 10-minute game, where I asked them to guess which role did each responsibility belong to. These were the results. So this is the job description. And this is the alignment between each role's understanding with the job description, which was very low, but it's okay. I don't care about JDs. What was more sinister was the alignment between themselves. So they neither agreed among themselves nor with the JDs. So what this meant is some responsibilities, somebody says, oh, it's you, and then the other person says it's you, and nobody owns it. Or other responsibilities, people are fighting over it. They say it's me that decides this. If we had found the smoking gun, this was the speed of the bullet, like the actual data that gave us the momentum to pursue this. So I kept thinking of a bean sorting game. It's like, you put something and it sorts the different colors. I was like, what if we have a game where you put the responsibility and it tells you the ratio of contribution from the different roles? This is 20 seconds, but there's an error. So that's fine, I'm gonna skip it. But essentially, I had just came back from the Agile coaching bootcamp where we were exposed to system constellations. Anybody aware of? So if I was kind of more sane, I would do this kind of in small groups. But I told the CTO at the time, I learned this technique, I'm gonna do it with everybody. So we had everybody there in a physical space, and every spot signified a certain division of responsibility. So we take the first one, we read it out loud, and they talk what it means to them and who they think should own it. So it was kind of a collective conversation. It was great that they were able to express their frustration with the challenges that they had, but it took a long time to go over all the responsibilities. But out of that, we were able to design a survey that quickly gave us consensus about which responsibilities belong to which roles and which ones had a question mark. With this, we were able to have one-on-ones and quickly kind of reach a settlement. For me, I felt very ashamed of doing this work. imagine you're sitting and you have to refer to this long list before you deal with somebody. So I said, can we actually have like a simple vision for the different roles? If you have a new responsibility in the future, can you align it with the vision and kind of automatically know how to interact? So we came up with these statements or these metaphors that you have a team navigator that kind of doesn't know exactly how to get somewhere, but they tell you which direction to go. We have a tech mentor. They help people build good quality code and evolvable design. And we have a team harmonizer, which is setting the psychological safety and the process in the team. We were able to map all the detailed responsibilities to this, and it's made sense to everyone. After we launched this in the all hands. After we launched this in the all hands, I no longer got requests that so-and-so is doing something that's bothering me. So it kind of removed the old problems. We had other problems, but at least it's not the same problem. Going through all of this, what did I learn? Stefan introduced me to autonomy, mastery, and purpose. I love that. In this experience, I learned what happens when you have autonomy without purpose. When you don't have a shared purpose, everybody's autonomous and they're adversarial. They work against one another. It was the first time in my short career that I actually tried to convince a VP to have less autonomy because the autonomy that we had was unhealthy. Something else that I learned is to learn to ride the wave. So Scrum Master one day, executive coach another day, whatever it takes to address the limiting constraint for the situation. Okay, so this is Kurt Lewin's equation. So behavior is a function of the person and the environment. If you have the same problem reoccurring with different people, so you're just doing like this, it's not the person, it's the environment. Something is in the brine, the organizational brine that Eric likes to talk about. This is called the Liebig barrel. So if we are working here and we're doing maybe some minor, like marginal improvements on how the team is working, if our problem is here or here, it doesn't make a difference. So in my case, what happened is the problem was here. So I went here, tried to fix it. But as I'm working here, I realized that it's actually here. So what do I do? Top management. It's a silly word, like top, what does it mean? I think top management is here. It's not at the top. Everything else is built and based on this foundation. They can't dictate and decide everything that happens. All they can do is set the constraints for everybody else to work. If there is a slight misalignment here, like what happened with the two executives that I spoke to, the result would be like this. So that's where we are right now. We're working in HR, working with the executives, trying to do the 20% that has the 80% impact on the teams that we used to serve in the past. So this is my journey today. I'm not sure how long it will last, but I wanted to share it. 40 seconds. Thank you.